God bless you guys. We are here together. It's been a year and a half that we haven't done
It
this.
has not been a year and a half.
It's almost. I don't know.
It's impossible because we've been living here for under a year and we've done it at least once.
I don't know. It sounds like I think I could be saying that. I think it's been a bit, but anyway, we are hoping that the sounds right because I'm using only one mic, and hopefully it sounds good enough so that we can. The podcast will sound good for the ones that are gonna listen to later on. So, hello to those that are on Facebook, those that are on Instagram, and those that are coming on YouTube. Thank you for joining us, and we are here with my beautiful wife, and for 28 years.
It'll be
20
28,
and no,
right?
no.
We got married in 98.
We're gonna do this again.
Yes. We got married in 98.
Yeah, I need get like right here. I need you right there. There you go. I don't need. There you go.
Hi.
There you go.
We'll move over then.
No.
Oh, then you can't. I'm sorry. Okay. We got married in 98. It's
So yeah.
August of 98.
Yeah, 26, 27, 28.
Oh. Yeah, it's gonna be
28.
It's gonna
You're
be
right.
28.
You're right. 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 Anyway, but yeah, it's 28 years and it's been a bit, and so we want to
Yeah,
talk.
why you say it like that? It's been a bit.
I didn't say it. It does not. I just said it's been a bit. That doesn't mean I'm saying it in a certain
You
way.
didn't sound enthusiastic at all.
It's been a bit. Wow.
Why would you choose "it's been a bit" to describe how many years we've been together?
That's just a saying. It's
Yeah,
not
but
a-
it doesn't go with
it's
speaking
been a bit.
about
It's been
your
a while.
marriage.
That's what that means. It's been a while. Talking about marriage. Well, in marriage, in the going to be 28 years. We have two kids,
Yes, we do.
two wonderful kids. Our son Nicholas and our daughter Isabel. Their age? Do we say their age?
Why
Yeah.
not?
Because that's what we're going to talk about. How do we, the parenting? How? So here we go. My son is how old?
26,
And my daughter?
22,
Yes.
turning
It's-
23
turn-
this year.
Yeah, no, isn't that crazy? So leave me 1 second here, just so I can see. Isn't that nuts? So, there's say hello to your sister.
Hola.
Bernice, can you hear us both well? I need you guys to let me know.
We need feedback to make sure that what you're hearing is.
Yeah, thank you.
You can hear us.
Exactly. And so, if you can hear us well, that is great. If you hear me more, let me know and I'll adjust it. So our son is yes. She said yes. Let me just hear. So everything's good. There we go. That's all I wanted. So we're excited to be here with you guys, right? And So we 28. No, Nikki's 26, right?
Yes.
So we've been parenting for 26 years.
Yes.
Um, we parent one way with him and one way with her. Or we try to do the same thing.
We try to do the same thing, but they're different kids. So, and they have different personalities. So, as much as you try to do the same things, sometimes you have to adjust because, you know, how he receives messages versus how she receives messages are two different things.
Yeah, and because he's a male, and she's a female, that also changes in the way that we parent, right? But we try to be as fair as we can. I don't think we were thinking about being fair. I think we just was parenting, right?
I think in the beginning I was thinking about being fair. There were certain things that I was just like, no, if we let him do it at this age, we have to let her do it at this
Yes, yeah.
age. And I think it comes more with, you know, again, the kind of kids that they are. And because she is a female, at least for me, I think I can be more overprotective than you are, actually. Sometimes. It depends on what it is.
Yes.
There's certain things that irk you that don't faze me
Okay.
because
Okay.
because she is my daughter
Uh-huh.
and I did those things
And
when
then- and
I
then-
was her. Well, when I was her age, I was married, but I'm saying when I was younger, I did some of the things
Yeah.
that she does or whatever. But she's done, you know, and they're just silly stuff.
Yeah.
It's not like life altering things.
And then there's things that vice versa that you said that bothered me and didn't bother you. And it didn't bother me, but it bothered you. Did I just say the same thing? No, I didn't say the same thing.
No, you started to say
I'm trying to word it the same way you worded. That's why. And I know I shouldn't do that
Just
because you...
talk the way you
talk.
talk.
Yeah, okay. So there's
It's
time
more
when
fun
you
that
think...
way.
I know, right? Yeah, thanks. Maybe you see better, so you can see the...
It says-
What she said? Bernice.
Yeah, she says she has two girls, and it really has to do with their personalities. So
Yeah.
it's really, you know.
It is. It is. And the judgment and the age. The age difference. And so...
Yeah, because there was a lot of things that she'd be like, that's not fair. And I'm like, you guys are 3.5 years apart. Like, you can't expect me to give you that freedom that we are giving to him, you know. But he thinks that we spoil her. And he thinks that we
and she thinks
now
that we
look
spoil
him now looking at us
Uh-huh.
and because she's still living with us and he's married and even his wife Sorry.
Okay, she's not used to doing live. You just gotta go with the thing.
The light fell. It scared me. A blooper. Anyway, so now that he's married, and even his wife, you know, because she has a younger brother, and they feel that we and even her parents are a lot easier laid back with the younger ones. And I don't think that's the case. I just think it's different, you know. She's here by herself. She's almost been like an only child because Nikki's been out of our home for a really long time.
Yeah.
Whether it's been permanent or not. Like, he went away to school when he was 18 and, you know, came back for the summers, came back for the vacation. But
It's
really,
we have him longer.
I
so
mean,
it's
the
gonna be
biggest blessing
different.
of COVID was that we got to keep him in the house longer, you know, and he didn't get to go to school.
Yeah.
You know, so we got that time with him. But the reality is that since he's been 18 years old, he hasn't really been living full time with us. And when he graduated college, he didn't come back here to live with us, and so that's a long time. And he's now 26 years old, so he's basically been alone a lot longer than she has. And she's 22 now, and it's just different.
It is different.
It's the
and
personalities.
now we got a parent, a child who is married, which now changes things too,
Yes.
right? Because we can't expect for him to respond a certain way because now he's got a wife that he has to
Yeah.
keep in check. I mean, a wife that he needs to.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, it is different. It is different. So some of the hardest things in life involve learning how to hold on with love, while also learning how to let go with trust. Before we had to hold their hands, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before we had to guide them and lead them. Before we had to, and I did this one. This one stays the same, I think. And then we cry with them, right when they hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that doesn't change,
No.
right? Because no matter, even our son who's married, if something is going wrong with him, it'll affect us, right? So how do we let go, right? How do we let go? I think with our son, he was going to college, right? So we were already starting to let go, right? Because
Sort of.
and because he was less at home.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we had no choice, right?
Yeah.
There was no choice there. And with Isabel, it's kind of different because she's still here.
Yeah.
So we don't let go.
Well,
Again, there's different situations.
they both learn and receive information differently,
Mm-hmm.
and they also communicate differently. Not that Nick is not a good communicator, but he does not check in on us or with us, let's say, or did that when he was younger, like Isabel does. Isabel's always
That's
okay.
a boy thing and
I
a
left the
girl
house.
thing, right?
I'm in the car. All right, I got here. All right, I'm leaving here, and that's exactly how I want it. I want to know where she's at, what she's doing, who she's with, and she always tells us that. With Nikki, sometimes I'd have to be like, I remember one time him coming home really late, not answering the phone, and he was out and something happened or whatever, and it was not a big deal, but he got home late, and I was really upset because there was no communication of, I'm sorry, I'm running late, this is what's happening, or, whatever. And even if she thinks she's going to be late, she'll communicate that with us. Not that it's always been, easy peasy or anything like that, but in that aspect, she does communicate a lot more with us in regards to what she's doing. I'm not saying that at this age he should be communicating with us all the time, telling us what he's doing because he's married. I just mean, at his age, at her age, he was not doing that.
Yeah.
Like when he was in college, whatever. Like there was this one time, remember we were going to an event up in North Jersey, and we were heading towards there, and we were supposed to be picking him up so he can go with us, and he wouldn't answer his phone, and I couldn't get a hold of him, and I'm calling him, and then I called my parents, and they were like, he didn't stay here because he was living with my parents at that time. And I was totally freaking out. I had to call security to make sure that he was okay. And they did, they checked up on him. But had he said, Mom, I'm not going home tonight because I'm super tired and I can't drive, I'm staying at my buddy's house, I would have been, okay, fine, But that was the first time that I couldn't get in contact with him, and I didn't, it was freaking me out, especially that where he was going to school was, in North Newark, and it wasn't the best area. Yeah. So I was kind of like, oh my gosh. And I knew that he stood at the studios late and sometimes, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's just not, it's not safe.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. But Isabel's pretty good. Like, even when she leaves work, I'm on my way, no matter what time it is, because of her work schedule, she works really late and stuff.
And it's again, I think that sometimes could be the guy. Even though I'm very thing about responding, even to my parents. I do that now, but I did that more like a guy thing than a girl. The girls are always more the ones to. Well, I don't know, cause Mrs. here, I think now that I'm saying that, I'm going to retract what I was saying, because this young lady here. I think your son does the same thing because
yeah.
Okay.
He has.
Yeah.
I don't communicate well on the phone.
And I'm always the one.
You can ask my best friends. You can ask the whole world. My sisters, my mama.
So
unfortunately,
forget that. I'll take that back.
I am just not. It's just not. I don't know. Yeah. But when I go out, I say, "Hey, I'm here." That kind of stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
But you're my husband, so I have to do that. But
with me and Isabel, you do.
Yeah, with
but
you
that's because we're here.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, no, because we live together.
So
I'm not referring to like with Nikki, but
yeah,
I don't do well with that. Like I don't. My husband, he's great. He's a good kid. He's a good son. He calls his parents every day. He calls my parents almost every day. By the way, I haven't
called them
today.
I gotta call them after this.
He will call them as soon as we hang.
Yep.
We're done here.
Sure will.
But that kind of stuff, it's funny because they both have a little bit of us,
Yeah.
each of us in them, in that aspect. But as they get older, you have to. I don't think we had a hard time letting go, because I think that as the kids got older and they and um and they moved along and they grew, they kind of showed us in what areas we can trust them in and what areas we couldn't trust them in. So we kind of gave them that room.
Hmm.
We were strict parents, but I think now that they're older, they're starting to realize that there are parents out there that that are a lot stricter than what we are.
Hmm.
For instance, with me and you, right? We were engaged and we were dating, and you didn't have a key to your house, and you had to be home at a certain time, or your father said he would lock the door.
Yeah, we didn't have to say that. Yeah.
Whereas I moved out of my house,
Uh,
I went away to school, and then I didn't come back. I stood, you know, in Vinelands, and I didn't.
you need to be the comment because from this far I can't. I don't have to go in.
Who you fooling?
Well, she said before that because we didn't read
She
them.
said it's not a boy thing. I have one that does that and the other
Oh,
that doesn't.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, she
yes.
said that right
Yeah,
after I
mhm.
realized it's not a boy thing.
But yeah, everybody's just, it all depends. So I think with us as the kid, it's hard to watch them grow up. It's hard to release, but I think for me personally, I could, for me at least, I feel that as the kids got older, I gave them that room that they needed to. I
Yeah.
think sometimes it's harder for you, um, in that aspect with certain things, not everything, with certain things or whatever.
I
Um,
might go.
yeah, but I think it's a lot harder for you because sometimes
Well, it's
it's the
yeah.
way they speak to you. And in my opinion, I don't disrespect my parents. I don't. I at least I don't think I do. I am very.
Mm-mm.
I you know, my father, my mother, okay, I don't know. I just take care of them. I don't disrespect them. I did enough of that when I was younger. I don't do that anymore. And I really didn't do much of it when I was younger. I don't think my sister's
I think
watching,
we-
she
yeah,
could
we-
speak for me.
yeah,
There were a few things here and there, but to say that I was a huge headache and that
Yeah.
I back talked a lot and gave them that kind of a problem, I think my parents had a hard time when I turned at the age of an adult, that when I started making my own decisions, they had a hard time with that. Because I was living under their roof, and also because I was making choices that I shouldn't have been making. So I think that that's different as well. I was living a lifestyle that was not conducive of it was not a Christian lifestyle. So my parents didn't see certain things, but they also not dumb. They knew what I was doing, versus where our kids, they never, you know, brought that stuff home. I mean, Isabel, like I said, Isabel and Nicholas, they're not perfect children, and they both have had situations, but I can't say that
No,
we've been really blessed.
We have.
Been really blessed. Is my daughter mouthy? Yeah. Do I want to pop my son sometimes when we see him?
We don't need to share that.
Because they get a little bit saucy because now that they're adults, they think they can, whatever. Nights is in that aspect. I'm like, all right, you still have to have that fine line. Okay, well, this is still my mother, this is still my father, and even if I don't like what they're saying, let me be careful with the way that I respond to them. Sorry, I hit the mic. Let me be careful. Sorry.
You don't need to say it. You just hit it.
Well, you're
and it's-
making worse by
No,
talking
no,
about
just
it,
say
right?
it's fine now.
Right? You're making a bigger deal out. Hi, John. How are you?
What's going on, John?
And so I just, I think in that aspect, I just don't. That's the area that I have a hard time in. I have a hard time that sometimes when they speak to us, they're not speaking to us, they're speaking at us, and I don't like that. I don't care how old you're getting. There's no reason for you to disrespect me or to talk at me. I'm your mother. I don't do it to my father, and I don't do it to my mother. The only time that I get saucy with my parents is when I'm taking care of them and they have to take, because they're in their 80s. And so now there's certain ailments that they have, and they, sometimes they want to not do certain things or take care of themselves properly, and we have to get tough on them, but that's because we're taking care of them and we need them to do the things that we're asking them to do, because at this stage of their life the roles have kind of changed. But to say that I blatantly disrespect my parents or come at them for something, or if they say something I don't like, that I'm like all whatever, I don't do that. But I think kids these days have that kind of, they turn a certain age. There's an entitlement thing in this world or whatever, that they think, they're entitled to a certain amount of respect. And, if you want to be respected, you have to give respect.
But our kids are good kids.
Yeah, they are.
They don't.
I'm talking in general.
I know. So anyway, here, how does parenting change when your children become adults? What feels different now? And I know you kind of touched that, but what kind? So okay, you love when they were little babies. Oh my God, when I see babies, right?
Oh my God, they make me cry.
What? Yeah, when I see little babies, I'm like, oh my God, like if I see, look, Isabel, like this girl, oh my God, that little girl just.
Oh my God,
she is so Isabel, yeah.
There's this little girl. Her name is Zuriella.
You would think, yeah.
And you would think that she was my daughter's child. She looks so much like my daughter and is so saucy like my daughter was at that age. And she's just the cutest thing in the world. And I just want to squeeze her and love up on her all the time. And you laugh at certain things, like she knows how to cut her eyes, and do certain things that she learned from her mama. But she's so cute. So you try not to laugh, right?
Yeah.
But you can't help it. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And that's she's just so cute.
So you see kids and you reminds you of your kids, right? Reminds us of when they were small, when they would run up to you, when they were just. I saw I was seeing Nato with the baby.
My God.
And when he had
Nato with little Nato.
Yeah, when he had him on his back and doing push-ups.
That was
and
cute.
so that just took me back to when we used to do with the kids.
You used to lay down.
Yeah,
and
I used to throw myself on the floor.
Indeed, though he
When
could
we were
come
getting
home
older,
from work
that
and he
stopped.
would be tired, and those kids would be jumping all over him, and he just let them,
We used to
you
go
know,
in the
and
snow.
horse rides and snow. You were such a good father.
Yeah, but I don't care about snow right now. But anyway, that's it. So now we see our children, and again, there's a difference. We see our son who's married, right, and we see our daughter who's in a relationship with he's a good kid. He's a good
egg.
He's a good egg. He's a good egg. Yeah. If he gets crazy, I'm anyway. No, but he's
a good boy. The same way we were measuring up, Melanie for
He-
her
he's
dress,
correct.
we're taking his measurements for his tuxedo.
No, he's so far he's doing pretty well, and so it's so what's different now as we parent, because at the end of the day you don't stop parenting your kids, right? And I like the fact that because our kids now they come to us, right? So and they come and ask questions,
Yeah.
and they ask us about different situations, how to deal with certain things. How did we do with this when we were dealing with something financially, whatever. Any question that they had or they have, they come to us, and it's different. And so I appreciate that, right? Because it's like I'm glad that at least they know they have us, that they can come to.
Yeah.
And we don't mind if they go to other people either, because at the end of the day, we never had an issue with that, especially with families, go to your uncle and.
I think the only time we had an issue was when someone was not leading them spiritually in the right direction or being biblical about something. I think the only time that we were bothered with someone's sharing certain things with our kids, even now as adults, it's when it's a contradiction to the Word of God completely. When it comes to that, then that's when we get kind of like, okay, wait a second. But I think that we've done a really good job with the kids, because they'll come up to us and be like,
they encourage us.
Yeah, they come up to us and they're like,
yeah.
such and such said this to me, and that doesn't sound right. And I was, so I think I appreciate the fact that, obviously Nicholas talks to you a lot more than he talks to me, because, like, when he comes to advice, he goes to advice to you for certain things.
Yes.
And he comes to advice
Of
to
course.
me for
The
different
father
things.
thing, right?
Yeah.
He's
So-
a husband thing. So he's a husband, the male thing.
He does.
There, that's the same. And he's going to go to you for other things. And I think that's what
And you do a
our
good job of
kids-
respecting him, because
Yeah.
we don't share you don't share his private, like whatever he comes to you.
Well, he told me
you
not to
don't-
say anything.
yeah,
I'm
you
not
don't
gonna say
share those
anything.
things,
Yeah, I
so-
just think that's just. I think
So
that's,
Nicholas, your dad's being a good
so
confidant.
it's the same way they tell you not to tell me, right? I think that we should respect that. We shouldn't take that as a bad thing, because I prefer for our kids to come to you than to not come to you because they think that you're gonna come and tell me.
Yeah.
And that's okay, because at the end of the day, I know you're gonna give them good advice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, we still if there is something that we could talk about, we'll talk about it, and we'll have a conversation, and we'll deal with it. Or you might want my response, and you might not want my response. So sometimes I'm just gonna give you a response, even if you don't want it.
Sometimes I think that with Nicholas, he'll come to one of, like, if he wants to share something with the both of us, but he wants to talk about it individually, he will do it individually. Whereas Isabel,
Yeah,
if
she'll
there's
do
something she wants to share with the both of
she
us,
wants us both there.
she either wants us both there, or she'll come to me and I'm like, do you want me to tell your father? And she's like, could you do that? and
And-
sometimes and sometimes I'm like, I don't think you're gonna get the reaction you think you're gonna get, and I think you can tell him yourself, whatever. Or sometimes if I'm like, I don't know, then I'll talk to him, privately. And sometimes he surprises me, and sometimes it's pretty much,
We've learned it's a shifting from authority, right, to influence.
yes,
And that's learning. I think it also, again, what it is about living here. If Nikki would still be living here, then we'll be more authoritative.
you thought
I
pretty
thought
cat.
that pretty cat. How you say the word
Authoritative?
authoritative, right?
What are you trying to say?
Because when they're more here, where there's just rules,
Oh,
so
of
the more
course.
so we're more
Yeah.
authoritative, more when they're living with us.
Yeah.
But you got to learn from going from that to now being at the end of the day, I think we should always I think we always had the mindset, I think, of always being an influence. Our children need us to be an example.
Yeah.
And so for us to teach them something, we have to abide by it, and we should do it as well. Or they should see that, okay, we did it as well. Same thing is like, okay, if they find out how we were with our parents, they can see that what we say, okay, yeah, they're honoring their parents. They are. So or the way they deal with the parents, or just how we deal with other people. How do we respond? How do we react in different situations? We're always being an example. And that never changes. That from day one, right? From birth to eternity. We're always going to do our best to be a good influence to our children. Because I think that's key. I think that's one of the reasons you see a lot of... sadly, in this generation, a lot of crazy young kids out there because they don't have the influence in home.
I think that both our kids, when they turned 18, had a different kind of concept of what that meant. And I think they both, in a different way, tested the waters to see what they can get away with. One was much more difficult, and it lasted a little bit longer than the other one. But I think that as they got older, they realized, okay, wait, that's not how that works, And also as their relationship strengthened with God, because they realized, biblically speaking, they weren't pleasing God, and that in everything that they do, it has to be to please God. And the word, literally, it's one of the commandments: honor your mother and your father.
Yeah.
So it's like, so if you're breaking that commandment, then you're being disobedient to God before you are to anybody else. And Ruthie always change with age and maturity. Rules. I thought you said Ruthie. I was like, oh, thank you. Yeah, they do. You're absolutely
Rules
right.
always,
So
we
when
make
the
adjustments,
rules that
right?
we had with them when they were
Yeah.
children changed when they became
Correct,
teenagers,
Bernice.
and now they change when they're adults. And
they may
right
change
now,
again.
Like, Isabel's living in our home, but she's 22 years old.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. We don't. we don't sit there and dictate to her.
She's gonna make her own decisions.
Yeah, like, okay, you
right?
need to be
She's
home like at this time. If not, this is what's gonna happen to you.
If I know where she's at, my only worry is more driving here.
Yeah, yeah.
From
And the
wherever
reality
the
is
time
that
it is. Other than
she's-
that, that's not. I don't worry about that.
Yeah.
I know she is because she tells us where she's at.
Yeah.
So to me, it's not the issue of where she's at. It's more as the sense of when she's coming at night, and she's again. She's
The
a
our
female,
rule is
and
if
just-
you're gonna be home later than, let's say, midnight, then you need to communicate to us why.
Yeah.
And if I've always told her, if you're out with your friends and it's already past like
She did it the other day,
yeah,
right?
it's
She
like
was-
past
and
1:00,
yeah.
then you might as well stay at your friend's house because
Yeah.
I don't want you out on the road.
It's
you
not
know?
like it's not because we don't want her to come get
Yeah.
home late.
And
it's
you know,
not
she
about
comes
that.
home late because she's works an
Well, now
overnight
she-
shift.
Exactly.
So unfortunately, that thing, but she's very respectful of that. You know, she has grown a lot and she's very respectful and she's
Yeah.
home always at a decent time. And it also helps that she's dating a young man that is responsible, because that,
And he has his, their
if
rules.
if
now,
you're,
his house.
yeah, his parents have certain
Yeah.
rules and they differ from ours, but that's what functions in their house and this is
Correct.
what functions here.
That's right.
It's not, it is what it is. And, I can't, and he's a good kid. So when you are with a partner who helps you grow, then that helps, it helps the parent as well. Because, there was a time where she was dating somebody she had no business dating, and that did change her character. And, it's an influence. You have to be mindful of, you have to be mindful of those things. And honestly, there are things that we didn't allow and we weren't going to allow, and stuff, and we still won't allow. But she is, again, she's 22 years old.
22, so,
And I mean, I can't complain. My kid is not out on the streets. Neither one of them are
always
out.
thinking about others.
Yeah.
Both of them. They always
Never-
think,
As far as I know, my kids don't
I-
drink, they don't smoke, they don't do all that drugs, they don't do all that stuff. As far as I know, they haven't showed that to me either, or to my husband. Have they done it? I don't know. Do I want to know? No. Have they brought it to my house? No. Do they behave like they do? No. What they show me fruit. They show me that they love the Lord. They show me that they love their church. They show me that they love their partners. They show me that they love their family. So what I'm seeing, they're bearing good fruit. So if you're bearing good fruit, then I can continue to give you that respect.
Yeah. It's learning to let go, but still being present,
Yeah.
right? And I think being available. How can we be available without being controlling?
Well, I think it's the same thing that we have been saying. It's just, hey, I'm here. If you want to talk to me, we can talk. There's certain things, again, Nicholas and Isabel completely different. Nicholas is now married. So there are going to be times that he's not going to call us because now that's what he has
Of
his
course.
wife for,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But he knows that
That if he needs
that
to.
if he needed us in any way, shape, or form, that we're going to be here with listening ears,
Yeah.
And it's about thinking before you speak, all right? Reminding yourselves, okay, this boy is 26 years old, and he's really not a boy. He's a man, and he's married, And so when he's talking to me, I might still hear my little boy, but I have to remind myself, this is my adult child. So be mindful and respect him, when you speak back to him. Because sometimes certain topics, we may not agree on certain things. He's not too, he's very protective of his sister, and that's always, that's always an issue.
Yeah.
Every guy that she's dated
Well,
has always
but
been
that's
more
good
afraid
though,
of
right?
Nick than
Yeah.
anything
Right.
else.
Yeah.
But
He cares.
he's protecting her. He
Yeah.
wants to make sure that she's being taken care of, and that she is committed to someone who is worth being committed to, And I can't argue with that. But, so there's certain topics. The same thing with Isabel. There might be certain things that she doesn't agree with, and I'm like, okay, well, I need to understand why you don't agree with them. And we have that conversation, and I had to talk it out. And sometimes, if it's just like a nutty explanation, I'm gonna be like, okay, I have to remind myself, okay, give her that respect. But because she does live with us, sometimes it is a little bit harder, I think, with Isabel because she's still here for us to release in that aspect in those conversations the way we do with Nicholas.
Yeah.
Once she becomes someone's wife,
it changes.
It's gonna change. So as things progress, then you change the way that you do.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that they're very communicative with us. Isabel, she's, she and I are two peas in a pod, and we're always messing around. Sometimes he gets mad because he thinks it's too much, like because I'm her mom, and she, he thinks that I let her fool around too much with me or whatever. And he gets upset. He gets upset because he feels like you're her mom.
No,
she shouldn't,
but
Yeah.
But
I tell her
time
there are times that I go up to her and I'm like, all right,
I get it, understand.
the line has been drawn.
Because I don't play.
And we're gonna have a problem soon if you don't cut it out.
That's mama. And so I'm not gonna let nobody talk to mama a certain way. That's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome, by the way. So it's being present emotionally and being present spiritually. And I think the most important thing is being present spiritually, right? I think John said it, right? It's prayer. When we continue to pray for our children, that we did since day one.
Mm-hmm.
We pray even before our kids came to this earth. We pray when they were in your belly. We pray when they were born, and we continue. And we pray through all this time, and we still pray now for our children every day. We pray for our kids, and I think that's key.
And we've always prayed for their partners, even if they weren't dating yet. Even when they were little, we were like, okay, Lord, whoever it is, we've always prayed for their partners, and we continue to do that.
Yeah, it's so I think it's important. Yeah,
and so I'm sorry. And sometimes when you're having a difficult time, with your kids, and it's something's happening. It's about anointing their room with oil and praying over that room, when they're there, when they're not there. I don't,
pray for wisdom.
You got to pray for wisdom and ask the Lord to help you, because how you respond. If you want a relationship with your adult children, if you want a relationship with your children, then you're going to ask the Lord to give you wisdom with how you deal with them. I think a parent has to be a parent at all times, and a parent needs to show that they need to be respected as that. I don't think that it's okay. I know we were talking about how Zuriella does little things and we laugh, but she's not ours, right? But we still have to help the mom be like, okay, you shouldn't be laughing at certain things because that's going to not be funny when she's a teenager, And so you need to demonstrate from the beginning that there's a line that can't be crossed at any time as a parent. And as they get older, they respect that, Yeah, you loosen up, but they have to earn that respect that they get.
Yeah.
Because if my daughter was living in this house acting like a nut, then we'd have some serious problems.
Yeah. It's so then I think it always boils down to trusting in God and just letting God work in their life as God worked in our life. Right?
Yeah.
We've always learned to go read that one.
You both have great parents, have shown you how to put God first and how to be there for their children.
We
Absolutely
did.
right.
That's major, right? That's one of the major things in our life, is that from both ends.
Yeah.
And it's good. And crazy enough that they both know each other, right? Our parents have a wonderful relationship and are friends, and I think for many years. But I think we had that example in both sides, and
yeah.
Go
ahead, sorry.
Okay.
When you were younger, did you ever see your parents arguing?
No, not like an argument.
No, like an argument. Like,
no.
Yeah, me neither.
No, it's.
I didn't see that, and so I think that helped.
It does.
With the expectations of unfortunately, we made mistakes in that area.
Yeah, we never argue in front of us.
But I think about that all the time. Like, man, what would
I think we still did okay though.
because because
But
that's a
it
good
is.
example
It
though,
is.
because
It is. Yeah.
you're kind of like, it makes you wait and say, let me think about this. Is this how I should be addressing this?
Yeah.
And
We
my
try.
parents didn't
We
do
try.
it this way. Like when I was 40 something years old, I saw my dad and my mom argue for the first time, like a really
Yeah.
where my something happens or whatever, and I was crying because I thought they were gonna get divorced. And Lemmy's like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I've never seen my parents argue with this, but they had both retired, when you're in the same space all the time, 24/7. But my parents are obsessed with each other. Like, they, everybody who knows us knows how my parents are with each other, and I can't with you too.
Yeah.
I'm so serious, Bernice. I was devastated, and I had to get you. I was like, okay, it's their age. They're getting older. They're, whatever.
Yeah.
And stuff. So that was weird to me because I never seen that.
Yeah.
As strong as my father is and as strong as my mom excuse me, I never saw. I only saw love between them.
Yeah.
I never, in all areas.
Yeah.
Even when the family was going through a tragic situation, I never saw them raise their voices to each other. I don't remember that. I can't say I've ever seen that.
Yeah. And then we also pray for the future, which I think it's. Listen, one thing is that I don't think me and you. I think we're a part of our kids, no matter what they become in the future. But you want them to do well, and we support them. But we're very, right now, and it's the same way that we're supported with Nicky when he was going to school for architecture, and we're supporting Isabel now with becoming a baker, and she's doing a great job. You might see a little bit of weight in us. It's the camera. It's not the. It's not
the donuts she brings.
It's not the donuts that she brings us almost every day, and she just brought us.
And she just made all this bread for us.
Did you see the donuts she brought now? The
Yeah.
munchkins? Well, they call them donut holes. I don't know why they call them donut holes. But anyway. But yes, sorry. I'm like, what in the world? So we're going to have to be doing a little bit extra, walking in a little bit extra. Get on the gym. But anyway, or go to the gym. But I think that's one thing. We trust God in the way that how their future is going career-wise. And also in ministry.
Yeah.
They're both very involved. And Nick and Mel very involved in the church. And Isabel and Julian is very involved in the church. And so that is, to me, that is satisfying. That to me, I'm good. I'm good. I do, you want them
That's
to succeed in right? You want them to do well financially. You want them to be stable. That's great and dandy, and you should continue to help them and invite them that way. But the way they are, and the way they are with people, and the way they are involved in the church and in ministry, that right there, to me, that's my satisfaction.
That supersedes everything else.
That's
Their
my
relationship
satisfaction
with the Lord
that we did well.
really supersedes everything else,
of
because what they have on this earth is not going to go with them when they go, right?
Yeah.
So and they're going to gain more treasures when they enter the kingdom. And so that is my biggest concern, is that they stay faithful to the Lord, and that no matter what things come at them, as they continue to go through this walk, that they always stay strong and be centered and know that God's going to get them through it, and that it can hurt and you're going to, go through those situations, but through the hurting, the Lord carries you through it, right? And so you can hurt and still be joyful because you trust in the Lord and you have that faith. We've been through a lot of things right now. We're going through a different journey in our life, and there's certain things that have happened, and you just, okay, God.
And talking about that, yeah.
We know that you know what you're doing.
So parenting adult children teaches us to surrender, and how ministry teaches you the same thing. So as parents, we entrust our children to God, as pastor, we entrust people to God.
Yeah.
And so I think it almost goes. It's not the same thing, but it almost goes hand in hand in the sense that you're gonna teach the kids, and if they don't do it, you just leave them in God's hand, right? And you teach the church and you teach the people God's word. If they don't do it, if they want to act a certain way, they're gonna act whatever. But at the end of the day, you gotta leave them in God's hand.
There's always discipline.
Yeah.
Right. As parents, you're always going to discipline, and as leaders of the church, there's always going to be discipline. Not like, I don't know. It's different. We don't discipline people in the church the old school kind of way. I mean, like where you have conversations. I mean, when you're having conversations and be like, okay, let's have an honest conversation about what's going on. That's what I mean about a correction and helping them. At the end of the day, we're there to advise, and then they can do with it what they want. I can't make anybody see what I see and want to do things the way that I would do them. All you can do is give that biblical advice and make sure that everything is according to the word. Because if I can't show it to them and prove it to them by physically showing it, okay, here in the word it says X, Y, and Z, then it's like then it's just my opinion. And that's where I make sure when I'm speaking to somebody, I'll be like, okay, this is just my opinion. This is how I feel about X, Y, and Z, right? But the Lord says X, Y, and Z. And so, or I feel this way because this is the way the Lord tells us that we need to be. And it's not always easy because whenever you're having certain conversations with people, certain things that they're saying, sometimes you're just like, what? It's not correct at all. And so, or someone can come to you. We had a case where like when we were in New Jersey, where somebody came to us and was telling us how, her husband was abusive, and what we wanted to say, and was a lot of different things. And so you have to be very careful with how you help people and how you counsel them and things like that, because you have to be wise in the way that you choose your words. So whenever you're speaking to someone, you need to pay attention, listen carefully, and at the same time be praying in your spirit, saying, okay, God, help me to listen, help me to be wise, give me the right words that I need to share with this person when they're done speaking.
Yeah. And so going into, we wanted to talk into it because we kind of, we didn't start at 8. What time did we start? Anyway, it doesn't matter. Going into some of the things of, right, what do people often not see about pastoral life, right? And so we got a parent, right? But now we're parenting as also as pastors. But now we're leading into taking care of a flock and taking care of God's church. And sometimes that causes it's an emotional weight, right? And it's always, we're sometimes there's an emotional weight just because of the fact that you're how can I say, you got people that come to you and trust in you with their issues, and it could become a burden if you allow it to, because you don't want to see somebody hurting. You don't want to see somebody struggling, or somebody always in the same, always, up and down, and they don't learn, or because just the struggles of life. It's like, how many times people come to us and it's just one thing after another, and that's get overbearing and overwhelming for them, and then sometimes that can. I don't know if we ever really allow. I don't think we let that really over. How can I say it? There's pastors that they don't know how to respond because it's too much weight over them. It's too much burden. I don't think. I mean, it affects us, but I don't think to the point that we're.
Well, when you're saying responding to the individual when they're speaking to you?
No, I'm saying the weight, it's so overbearing, the weight over you. When somebody shares with you what they're going through, and they're
I
going
don't
through
think
so
that's
much.
correct. I think we both have cried over different
No,
situations that people have
so
been through.
crying is a thing, right? There's a thing about crying, because it affects
mean
it.
being
It doesn't
burdened by it?
exactly. It's burden is a different thing.
I think it
It
has.
can be emotional,
Hmm.
but it becomes a burden because it is emotional. What I'm saying is, it is a burden. What I'm saying, it is a burden. It is a burden. But what I'm saying is, I don't think there's to a point where I've seen other pastors like health wise, they are a mess. Like, because of the other people's burden, not because of their burden. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying, but I think that um, at least this year, there was certain things that have happened that I wasn't, and I'm not talking about us leaving the organization or anything like that. I mean, from prior to leaving the organization, there was something that happened with somebody, and I till this day, you know, I it weighs heavy on me about whether or not that was the right decision. So most decisions that we have made, yes, do I worry? Am I concerned? Do I put it in prayer? Do I just give it over to God? Yes. But I have to say that this is the first year where I felt like, ugh, I don't know if that was the right call. And I am concerned for that individual. So, yeah, so I think, is it affecting me medically, emotionally, whatever? No, it's not. But to feel where I'm constantly, thinking about that individual and how they're doing and what's going on, and really just praying and saying, God, please, I hope that.
I think
I don't
also
know.
yeah, but that was a situation too that we had to sometimes. There's got to be
We don't-
tough love that we give to our
Yeah.
children, right? That if we don't like, but at the end of the day we got to give, because somehow they got.
But it's just the same way as sometimes we make decisions and we're not in agreement about that decision, but because that's the decision that was made, as the wife and as the helpmate and as your right hand person, there's sometimes where I have to be like, that's the decision that he made, and I have to honor that because you're my husband, and you're my pastor. So doesn't necessarily mean that I'm always 100% on board. And so I think that was the issue with this particular situation, right? But I wasn't. So I don't know. So for me to say that, and I think that you've been hurt with certain things,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
like hurt for that person, and I don't know. I don't know if I
I think
necessarily.
at the end of the day, I'm always gonna worry. I care about people even if they don't treat me right.
Yeah.
Right. I still reach out to people.
Yeah.
Maybe some other people wouldn't. That's just the way. But that's just the way I am. That's not. I don't.
Yeah,
Expect
that's how
everybody-
you are. Once I'm a totally different person.
That's not.
Once I
yeah.
cancel somebody out, it's not because I hate them. It's just
You want to let them whatever.
I just let it go.
because
I
it's
just
gonna-
let them go
because then it
completely
become a
because
burden
it
on
becomes
you.
a burden to me.
So
Whereas with you, you're it's different for you. You're just like, okay, they did what they did, but whatever.
yeah,
You know.
I don't know.
I think there's maybe 2 people in your life that you've cut off, and that was it. But you had to. So that's different.
That's a biblical thing actually. Bible says
Whereas I have a list.
no, the Bible says that you help people, and if they're gonna bring you down, you gotta let them go. It doesn't say that's my version, but it does say it's
Overwhelmed.
yeah, it is overwhelmed. I get that it is very overwhelming. There's a lot of things that people don't see when it comes to the pastoral ministry. There's things that of course, you got your we do our private prayers and we pray for them, even praying for those that do us wrong. And that's not easy. Praying for those that do us wrong, and for me, praying for them because at the end of the day, God is a just God. So my thing is, I'm not going to sit here and pray that something bad happens to
Of
them,
course not.
or pray with there's people that or pray for because some people think that they're God, we're pastors, and you don't touch the man of
Yeah,
God,
I
but
believe
I
that God is, is a just God, and that when people do things to people that they shouldn't do,
they're
that
gonna get their
consequences,
it is yes, yeah,
consequences are going to occur because of that. But for me to pray that,
wrongdoing over somebody.
no,
It's just,
my
how can
prayers are always, God, please open their eyes,
yeah,
soften their hearts, and help them to recognize what they're doing
yeah,
before it's too late. That's my prayer. But I can tell you, I pray for it once, and I don't think about that person again. And then that's what I mean about cutting people off. He'll keep them in prayer. Whereas sometimes people are like, "Oh, you need to pray for them," but I'm like, "But if I'm not thinking about them, how can I pray for somebody?" Because I learned a long time ago not to let people live inside of here too long.
at least not run free.
Yeah, not rent free. But that's how I cope. I cope. That's my coping mechanism, so that it doesn't hurt me. It's not because, oh, I can't stand them. I don't want to know anything about them. It's not that. It's just if I think about that individual too much and I put it too much to heart, then it's gonna affect me. And it's I'm just a different person that way. Whereas, that's why you're the pastor, because you have that heart for people that, no matter what the situation is, you're going to continue to pray for them.
Yeah, it don't get me wrong. Yes, there are some. We do carry burdens, and we carry our own
Of
burdens, and we
course.
carry our children's burden, and we carry also, members of the church burden that we carry, and so it's a lot to deal with. People don't realize we have to, and I think there should be, maybe I should write a book. I don't know, but there should. I do say this. There should be a book about the beginning in pastoring. I think there's because a lot of organizations, they don't give you a really a class and a training on what to expect before even giving you a church. I think there should be a structure and to teach people, okay, this is what you got to deal with. How do I deal with situations at home, then dealing with situations at church? How to deal with things at the same time? Because then you might be having a situation at home. You can't bring your situation at home to the church, and you can't bring your situation at church and bring it at home.
Mm-hmm.
So we just can't leave it in the air. We got to deal with it,
Yeah.
but we got to deal with it in a certain way. And it's a lot. It's a lot. It's a.
I
That's why I don't want to. I know you said it, but that's another topic. But about how I'll continue to pastor, because it's this. I love pastoring, but it takes a toll, and we get to do things. Thank the Lord. Well, now we get to do a little bit more. So I think I like that one anyway. But anyway, but it's because the fact that we're always doing for our children, we're always doing for the ministry, and sometimes we don't get to go out as much as we want to. I think we still made an effort even before to do our dates. We always put it in somehow, some way, because it was important to us.
Mm-hmm.
We needed to, we needed that time
Well,
for each other.
the fear is like, okay, when we're alone,
Mm-hmm.
where there's nobody home with us, will we still be able to have those conversations? And so if you don't practice dating while you're married,
Correct.
then
We're
your
gonna be
marriage
strangers if we don't. Yeah.
can become very stale, and you can become strangers when your kids are gone.
You'd be
and
shocked.
that's the last thing. Yeah, a
Yeah,
lot of people
you be shocked
after
how
the
some
kids
of
leave,
pastors. We're talking about pastors now, right? And you be shocked how pastors. Again, you know, we're not a perfect marriage, right? But we strive to do our best that we can, and at the end of the day, we got to figure it out. Even when it gets rough, we got to figure it out, right? We got no. This is not what God wants. So that's we understand that God is doing something. We're in a new journey now. So where you think the enemy is gonna hit us at? He's gonna hit it through us, right? And we're in a new journey, in the new journey of being independent now, non-denominational. I like it more, but being independent, and that's another thing of learning now how to go back to when we first started.
yeah.
We're back again to square one, but at the end, but we're seeing God's hand,
Oh,
and we
definitely.
are. It's a one, and this time I think I told you this once. When we first started, the first time it was with our kids. So I remember the first time we
Yeah.
were at the church, I told you go do Kids Church with just them two, and I was in the sanctuary by myself. But
That's the hard part, not having our kids now
I
as
yeah,
adults
it is.
with us.
But they're doing their thing,
Yeah.
right? But we're starting with how can I say it? I would never change that moment that we had with our kids, right? Us starting now again, but we're starting with mature people in the church. So now we have more of a there's a more of a help, more of a backing of the kids did what they can do. I mean, we're asking them to how old
Yeah,
is Nikki?
Nikki was 13
And we were
she was 10.
and no, and so we were asking. I just realized the other day she was saying all this stuff about
She's so
other things
cute.
she used to do at the same time. And she said she would be in the back doing the lyrics, and at the
And
same
doing
time
the
with a mic
vocals.
singing with us, and they would sing with us, they would
She
play
was
with it.
so small.
It was
And we put a
yeah.
lot of weight on them, Dito.
That's why I appreciate how they are today because I know we did. We tried to. I
But
think we
they-
still.
they
I think,
did it,
but we
though.
did it in
They-
a. I think
they
we still
did
did it
it.
in a wise way too. I don't. I think right. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, they're good now. But we did. We put a lot of that could be. That's already being a PK is already a pressure in itself, and that's another thing. I have a. It's you having so I tried knowing me being a PK. I knew how that felt, and there was already a pressure there. That's why I don't mind them going to another church, because even though they're coming to our church and they're older, there's a pressure because they're the PK, they're the pastor's kids. Ooh, sorry, they're the pastor's kids. So that's I think that so now we're in a we're in a process that we have older people that are with us that are helping us uh, to move this on. And I think it's going I think it's going well, and we've been
It's
seeing
going very well, thank God.
God is doing amazing thing, and sometimes we just gotta understand that yes, like you said earlier, we gotta make hard decisions that are gonna affect us and that are gonna hurt us, or that's just gonna be a burden. But at the end of the day, too, we just gotta continue to pray.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt you. You said the things that people don't see behind the scenes.
Uh-huh.
This is not really behind the scenes information.
I'm gonna get there.
Oh, okay.
We see what grief for family. What do you want to say something?
No, but I think my train of thought was something different.
So what's your train of thought? We can go there.
I think my thought process when people behind the scenes is all the stuff that we do, and then people take. I don't know if it's to take for granted.
Not everybody sees it.
Yeah, and they don't
And
need to.
understands
They
it.
don't need to see it.
Correct.
But it's just like it would. How do you think that if you didn't clean the church and nobody else cleaned the church, how do you think the church got cleaned? So, how many times, on a Sunday I'd have to sweep and mop and clean the bathrooms in a dress, so that's the kind of stuff that I
Yeah.
was thinking, those kind of things that you have to do. Or,
That we still do no matter
yeah,
what. I mean, even
And
when
it's
it's just the way we. I guess because that's what we've always been doing.
yeah. Or when we're, not happy with each other, right before worship is going to start and you have
happens.
to, because, we're married, obviously, and sometimes, you're not every morning's a good morning
Yes.
and stuff or whatever, but, and then you have to suck it up, buttercup, and like, okay, this is not about you. This is about,
I'm worshiping the Lord.
you're
At the end of
worshiping
the
God,
day,
so it's that's all that matters.
it's
a lot.
It's not easy, but
Again, he's stronger in that aspect than I am.
oh, I can flip the I flip that switch quick.
He is. To me, I had to pray it out the whole time. I'm like, okay, Lord,
Nope.
help me.
Once I enter that church, let's go. And then after we're done, we'll but then after we're done, most of the time
And
we
then
just
when the service is over, it's like
was just
nothing ever even
stupid.
happened. We just,
because and
sometimes
we know what it is
yeah,
though.
mhm.
We know what it is. And we know we can avoid it. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But what it is always a what? It's a spiritual warfare that we got to deal with. People don't see that part.
Yeah.
People don't see that we get attacked in ourselves, like dealing in the sense of It's something in before the service starts. It's always some, not always, but most of the time, and we have to realize, okay, what I already know. Listen, we're gonna worship God, and it is what it is. I'm not. It's I think maybe once in all our ministry, maybe one time, maybe I was like, yeah, I could have just walked out the door. Because I can't, because it's not about me and it's not about you. It's about God, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I look at, right? So at the end of the day, I'm like, okay.
When we first got married, that was hard for me. I remember times of dropping you off at church and then going home because I was like, nope,
Again.
I'm not going into that building with that man because I was just upset about something. But I had to learn, like, I'm not going to church for him.
No.
I'm going to church, to be with God and to learn, and to grow.
Yeah.
And how am I supposed to get rid of that if I'm not,
So the majority for you, the majority of your life, you've been dealing, and you've been since I know you, right? Mm-hmm. Your pastor has been my father-in-law.
Your
for quite a few years.
Your father-in-law or your father?
Your father-in-law. Did I?
You said
my father-in-law. Your father-in-law.
Yeah, your father is the longest pastor I've had.
And then my brother.
Because
your
father, your father was. Your father, no, not even. Your father was 15 years. Your brother was my.
15 years. Go ahead.
Yeah, no. Your father was 13 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
Your father was 13, almost 14 years. No, your dad was 14 years. Your brother was not even a year.
I think most 2.
We were
2
years.
No.
Your father left at the end of 2012.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, at 2012, 2013, we were in ministry.
Yeah.
August. So your brother, but for me, your brother was always my pastor because he was the co-pastor.
Yeah.
So that.
Yeah, we always had
that 10 years, I still called him pastor, and I still saw him as my pastor.
And then after that,
then you were my pastor.
Your pastor is your husband, which that's another topic in itself.
I mean, I've had pastors as a young girl, but pastors that were actually effective in my life.
Yeah.
My youth pastor, Joe Pastore.
I'm talking about that's what I said. Yeah, of course. But
Joe
Pastore, we know each other.
Mm-hmm. Oh, since we've known each other, it's been all in your family.
So you had to deal with it's all family. It's all in the family, and then now.
Because there's been times where I just wanted to.
I've been your pastor.
Walk
for 13
away from your
years.
father, walk away from your brother, and
walk away from me.
Walk away from you. Because you gotta. Sometimes there's just things that you don't agree with, but
it's life.
But it's really hard because you're family. But at the same time, I think that when your eyes are focused on God, because the reality is that if I was focused on everybody else, and not on God, then we would have never survived.
Same thing, but that would be the same case with me, though, right?
With I would never survive living this life. It does help me immensely that because of the kind of character that I have.
We're doing it for the Lord.
Being in a family, being with a man that is stronger in that aspect. When it comes for me, you're stronger in those things. Your father, your brother, you guys are very solid people, and I know that I can. Your father and your brother mentors to me. You're my husband, but when I have questions, you're still my pastor. I could still ask you questions, and sometimes I ask you questions, and you look at me, you're like, for real, and I'm like, I got questions too, bro.
Yeah,
sometimes he thinks that because I'm his wife, I'm supposed to have. I'm not the one with all these books, whatever. I'm learning now because I'm in it.
But I think you know a lot. You do know a lot.
I do, but I get very. I still question myself.
Well, that's why I don't like that you do that, because you know a lot. But anyway.
Whatever. So.
So how do we protect our marriage while serving in ministry together? Making time for each other, checking in emotionally.
We could do better.
We could do better. We're still 70%. 30%. We could do better.
Yeah.
I don't think we're that bad.
Emotionally?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Emotionally. Well, if I say
okay,
you,
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Listen.
I'm gonna tell you the truth.
Hold on. Let me prepare myself.
No, he is very. I don't need to know where he's at emotionally because I know where he's at emotionally because he shares everything. Me, on the other hand, he can ask me questions and I'm like, I'm fine.
But I
I'm
know
fine.
when you're.
Yeah, but he does. He does know when I'm not. And sometimes he's like, come here. And I'm like, no. And I'll walk away from him because I know that if he hugs me or whatever, then I'm just going to break down, you know? And sometimes I just don't want to.
That's
So
another story.
he's
That's another
better
story.
with checking in. But I think it's because I feel like I don't have to check in because I kind of like already know. And sometimes he doesn't always.
You don't know my love language.
Yes, I do.
I know you do. Not letting ministry replace marriage. At the end of the day, if you tell me, I've told you this before, if you want us to stop right now, I'll stop right now. Yes or no? I have said
You have
it before.
said that, and I've also said, regardless of how I feel,
I
know that it's not God's.
I know you said that, but what I'm saying is,
I don't think that you would.
I think
I don't think
if
that
you would
would.
tell me,
I honestly think if I said to you, I can't do this anymore. I don't want you to do this anymore. I think that you would be highly devastated.
Well, yeah, because
and
I
that
think
you
we'll
would
be,
go on a long fast
if-
and prayer for the
well,
Lord to change
so
my mind. I don't think that you would do it.
I
I think
don't
that you would
even-
be like, okay, I don't know what we're gonna do about that, but the Lord has to tell me first. I don't think that you.
But
would
if
do
I,
it.
but generally, when I say, babe, if you want us to stop, and you tell me we do, I will stop.
I think that's what you think you would do.
I think I will stop. Because at
That's
the
what I'm
end-
saying. I think that you think that you would stop, but I don't believe that. Me, I don't think that.
Well, we don't need to go there to find out.
You don't.
But what I'm saying
because
is,
at the end of
because
the
I'm always
day-
thinking I don't want to be out of God's will. That's my only thing. But my first ministry is you. If I really tell you, you want to talk.
Have you noticed?
I've done that.
Have you
I've
noticed
said that.
something that's been happening?
I've said that, and I was really saying,
Excuse me.
babe, you want to go?
I'm gonna change the subject. For
Okay.
Have
No, you
noticed
can't be
something?
changing subject.
I've been getting
when we-
shorter and shorter. And the chair's going down.
Oh, babe, then
down,
we
down.
need to stop.
You're
We did pass
looking
our time.
down at me now.
It's going to. Oh yeah.
It's 9:50.
It's because you gotta raise it up. You gotta. Yeah, it does
You're
that.
looking at me, and I'm like,
It goes down.
sorry.
So anyway, not letting ministry replace marriage and supporting each other in difficult seasons.
Yeah.
I think we do okay with that one.
Mhm.
Because at the end of the day, when I see you crying, and I think with the situation that we dealt with recently, I think we both dealt with it. It was tough.
That was
That was hard.
that was very hard. I cried.
I mean, 52 years, man. It's 52 years, right? And no matter where we stand or where we were at,
Okay, let's get it straight. 52 years that you've been with MAE because of your parents and then of your own choice, you know, kind of thing or whatever. But of your own choice, you've been in, 52 years. All his life he's been under MAE. I don't know where I was going.
and we're not bashing nobody.
No.
We're not gonna bash the organization. That's not what we do.
No, it's just a
and
choice that we
I think
made
there'll
that
be
we
to a
felt
point.
we need to do.
There will
and
be
it
a
is what
point.
it is.
Exactly. We're moving on, and now
It
we're
was
doing
very
our thing.
difficult. It was not
hard.
an easy
It was hard.
decision. This was not a silly willy kind of thing or
No,
whatever. It has to be by far one of the most heart wrenching decisions.
But you know what?
And I still cry about it. And I'm
yeah.
trying not to cry about it now. But 2 months
But we
straight
did
of
it
me
together.
crying almost every day.
But we did it together.
I cried at work.
Yeah.
I cried everywhere I went.
I cried.
I would lock myself in the bathroom.
The
I would
first time I
cry.
cried was the other day. I told you.
Finally, you cried.
Yeah. The only time I did, I did cry one little time, but you know when that was,
Mm-hmm.
right? When the kids came out. But that was
Yeah.
the only time. Other than that, no, because you
Like
know
a lot of
me.
times
You know me.
people feel like
I'm just gonna
that, oh,
do
you guys
it's
just
God's
left
will.
and
No,
whatever.
that's
They
not-
have a
that's
lot of
not.
negative things to say about
It-
us, and I'm not going to get into that.
Yeah.
But you
You
have
need to
no
sit
idea.
up a little bit and then put the pressure. But you gotta get out because you're gonna keep going down.
No, if I fix it, we're gonna look stupid.
But then
Just-
let me
just
let me-
leave
there you go,
it.
there you go.
But it was not easy at all.
No.
And I
people are
cried
not gonna
a lot.
understand it, and that's-
when I mean I cried every
Yeah.
single day. I cried every single day.
But 4 years is 4 years in the same church. It's relationships that you build that we still have a lot of respect for. But at the end of the day, God called us, and our function in ministry is to pastor, and that
I mean,
was
we
gonna
thought we
continue
were going to
do.
retire there, so You know,
it was hard.
everybody was in shock. Imagine us.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, where I think this is what when people don't see is how we are being affected when it affects us because people don't think, probably think people think that we just got up and go and we just didn't care. That's just not the
No,
case.
this was a conversation we had for a long time,
Yeah,
for years, but we always were like, no, it's not, what God wants for us, and this we have to stay the course, but you always said something, and unfortunately, that moment came, and unfortunately, a lot of the things that you said were going to happen happened, and we were praying that it wouldn't happen, but it did, and so you have
and so
just got to keep going.
it just, and I think that is the thing people don't see is that when we were like us crying or it's hard, just I may have not cried like I usually cry, but it hurt. It hurt. And at the end of the day, I think what we've done this together, and we're gonna continue to do it together. And I really, this is not saying it just to say it, it's just to prove what God called us to do. And I not recently somebody told me God gave you a word years ago, and maybe you haven't seen it because you're gonna see it in this season. And I believe that in this 3 months, we have seen good things, and I think we're going to continue to see good things. How God is just providing, how God is just putting everything in place. The blessing of the church where we're at now, it's just amazing the way they're treating us. They just have they receive it with open arms, and we've seen God's hand work, and we're in a good place, and we're going to continue to be in a good place because we're in God's arms and in God's hands. And as we continue to be in God's hand, He's going to continue to help us. And so what keeps us going is that we continue to pray. What keeps us going is that we continue to read the Word and understand the calling in our life. And God called us, so we're going to continue to live by what He called us. And at the end of the day, that to me is the only way I will be a little bit hesitant to stop. But if you did, I'm going back there. If you really tell me, let's go, I will go. I told you that before. I think you don't do it because you know it's not the right thing. That's why. And at the end of the day, I do. My fear would be that for me to do something out of the will of the Lord. That's my fear. But at the end of the day, to be honest with you, I would, because at the end of the day, I want to make sure we are good 1st, and that's important. That's important that we take care of each other, and it's important that we continue to.
Well, my family is important to me, and I want to be able to that when the kids are having kids, that we're able to enjoy the kids, and there's nothing impeding us, because we have a responsibility, and this is a huge responsibility. We can't just up and go. But I think that we've been pretty good with being able to enjoy our family, do trips, and we never been that type of ministry where we gave up the family because it's biblically incorrect. We've been to most weddings, most birthdays, most of everything, celebrations. Regardless of whether we lived in New Jersey or whether we live down here, we fly to New Jersey all the time for all different kind of events and activities. So, and I think we've always done that.
Mm-hmm. Thank God we had the church always understood that.
Yeah, they've been
well,
really.
That's one thing.
Yeah, they've always been really good with that. Even with emergencies and stuff like that.
Yeah. So we just gotta, it's continue to just trust in God and continue to just move forward. So it's when she said that, I'm trying to go what she said.
Let me at the end of the day stop.
Anyway, Bernice, but I think that we need to continue to, pray, continue to read God's word, and continue to just trust God. And, the thing is, we're gonna always love deeply, we're gonna always serve deeply, and we're gonna always go our way. And but at the end of the day, and we just need to trust God. And at the end of the day, we just need to continue to do what God calls us to do. If other people receive it, great. If they don't receive it, then we just need to move on. It is what it is. So, with that being said, at the end of the day, if it's our children or it's the church, we need to leave them in God's hand and trust that God knows what He's doing the way we know He knows what He's doing right now. Because in this season, let me tell you something, God is really, He's showing Himself. And I think it's we are we're seeing God's hand. We're gonna continue to see God's hand. So, and that's what we are. This is what we are. Palabra de vida now.
And that's to end with this for me. I'm ending with this is the fact that if you're moving in a different direction and you see the Lord in it in all that you do, and you see that He's providing in all that you do, and that He is opening the doors in all that you do, the appropriate doors and so forth, then that's all that matters. But if you move in a certain direction and everything is rejection and everything is just not going the way it's supposed to, then you have to reconsider, okay, was this the right decision, you know?
Yeah, and it's like this Sunday we were preaching on God being faithful. God just being faithful. So, and that's what we need to do. So I don't know if Pastora Eunice is still there. I don't know Jorge is still there. Yari Vasco is still there. My parents, lo voy a llamar ahora. Javier, I don't know if he's still there. Blessings to you all. And thank you for your time. And at the end of the day.
And our number one fan, Bernice Mercado.
And Bernice Mercado, thank you for the conversation. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for keeping us up to par, if that makes sense. But it's ministry is not easy. Same thing being our parents, not easy. But putting God first. And God has been faithful, and He will always be faithful. No matter what circumstance we're in, God is always faithful. So that's where we stand, that's where we lean on, and that's where we're going to always see God's hand working in our life. God bless you. Remember, I wasn't going to announce this because it's at the end of the service, but if you're looking for a church, Palabra de Vida, it's 801 West 22nd Street in Sanford, Florida. Our service is at 7:30, Bible study, and then our Sunday service is at 1:00. So,
and we're also selling these shirts.
Yeah, if you want to support.
Palabra de Vida.
I'm gonna make them bigger. We're making new ones.
Yeah, we made them with in the back. Can you read the back in English?
Love, learn, and serve. Love, learn, and serve. I don't think I can do this.
You can't turn. The light's gonna fall again. Amar, aprender y servir. Did I say it right?
Amar, aprender y servir. Amamos, y crecemos y servimos.
And so we're selling these shirts, Profundo for the church. And so if you guys are interested, hit us up and let me comments. And $15. It's not a lot of money.
And if you want to buy the shirt, but you don't want to wear the shirt, but you still want to, okay, then somebody else will get the shirt. If you just want to donate to our church, hey. You are more welcome to do that. But God is good. And for those that have been a blessing, thank you.
Yes.
God has been, again, He's Jehovah Jireh. He's our provider. So have a blessed time. Thank you again for joining Yadi. Blessings. And blessings to you all. And we will see you on the next one. Hopefully it won't. Man, you're going to end up in the floor. But anyway, we're gonna see. Hopefully we'll do the next one next. We'll try to do it once a month, please. Can we go back to that again?
It
was a lot. We've been through.
I am back to school.
I haven't bothered you.
I'm getting my education.
And that's why I asked you this.
That's really not the reason. I don't do well with these things.
And no, but you don't do well with these things. But then you te quedas con el canto.
That's true.
We almost took 2 hours.
That's because you kept going. I could have cut off at an hour.
Anyway,
I just keep the flow.
She says she doesn't. But
this is the behind the scenes things that people don't need to see.
She doesn't. She says she doesn't like it, but she does. It's just a different like. It's not like the way I like it. That's maybe. But once a month is fine. Let's get back to it again. We were in a rough run.
I enjoy it while it's happening. I just
it gets
like Bernice is saying bye. Get off the thing already.
It takes forever to get you here, but we got you. But I haven't asked you.
You haven't bothered.
Because
if you asked me, that would hurt. But when you ask me, I do give you a hard time about it.
You're right. Have a blessed day. May the Lord bless you. The Lord keep you.
God bless
you
guys.
Let this confidence upon you and bring you peace. God bless.
God bless. Bye-bye.